Hello and a very warm welcome to another brand new edition of World Panorama, the show that gets you a weekly roundup of all that's happening in the international arena. I'm Teena Jha. Our focus today is on the US presidential election, which took the much expected turn in the last week. It is now by all means a Clinton versus Trump battle, which the United States is going to witness in the coming months. But who seems to be having an edge over the other? That is something we'll discuss in today's edition of World Panorama with senior journalist Manoj Kumar Joshi. Mr. Joshi is associated also with the Observer Research Foundation. But before we get into the detail, a quick check on the top stories this week. Hillary Clinton becomes the first female major party nominee to run for the White House. Barack Obama's endorsement gives her the edge. Bernie Sanders vows to work with Clinton to defeat Trump. Israel clamps down on Palestinian movement after two Palestinians kill 4 people at a popular Tel Aviv night spot in one of the deadliest attacks. United States warns China against attempts to resolve the South China Sea dispute through unilateral actions, urges all nations to find diplomatic solution rooted in the rule of law. And world unites for one last farewell to boxing legend Muhammad Ali. He is now buried in his hometown Louisville in the United States. Well, Hillary Clinton has claimed victory in the Democratic race for US president after winning New Jersey's primary on Tuesday. She now becomes the first female major party nominee to run for the White House, a conclusion that was reaffirmed when House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi endorsed her, although her rival Bernie Sanders is still hoping for an upset in California. Meanwhile, Donald Trump faced criticism from the Republican part over his racially charged standoff with the judge. Here's a report.
"96 years after women won the right to vote in the United States, Hillary Clinton declared herself the Democratic Party nominee for US President on Tuesday, saying she had made history as the first woman to lead a major party in a race for the White House. The former First Lady, Senator and US Secretary of State beat rival Bernie Sanders in New Jersey's nominating contest, expanding her lead a day after she captured the number of delegates needed to clinch the nomination.
Thanks to you, we've reached a milestone. The first time in our nation's history that a woman will be a major party's nominee for President of the United States.
A day before the key New Jersey primary, the Associated Press said Clinton had enough support to assure her of the nomination. The AP tally suggested she had 2,383 delegates.
I want to congratulate Senator Sanders for the extraordinary campaign he has run. And let there be no mistake, Senator Sanders, his campaign, and the vigorous debate that we've had about how to raise incomes, reduce inequality, increase upward mobility have been very good for the Democratic Party and for America.
New Jersey was one of the 6 states holding contests on Tuesday, including California, the big prize where Clinton was still at risk of an embarrassing loss to Sanders as she heads into a campaign against presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump on November 8.
The point is that tomorrow in California, we have the most important primary. The people of California have the right to determine who is going to be president of the United States, not necessarily having to listen to AP or NBC.
Sanders is resisting pressure to leave the race and has urged so-called elite superdelegates within the party to drop their support for Clinton, insisting that he is a stronger candidate to take on Trump. Meanwhile, presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump won the primaries in Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico and South Dakota. Giving a speech following the win, Trump said he would lead the Republican Party to victory in the elections.
Truly honored by your support. Together, we accomplished what nobody thought was absolutely possible. And you know what that is? We're only getting started, and it's going to be beautiful. Remember that. We close one chapter in history, and we begin another. Our campaign received more primary votes than any GOP campaign in history. No matter who it is, no matter who they are, we received more votes.
Trump, who is the only remaining candidate for the Republican nominee, also appealed to Sanders supporters saying, "We welcome you with open arms." Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And let's now go across to Mr. Joshi, who will help us understand the US presidential election in a better perspective. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the program. Now that Barack Obama has formally endorsed Hillary Clinton, saying no one is at the moment as qualified as her to go to the Oval Office, do we see Clinton going where no other woman has gone so far?
Well, it's still a tough election. After all, Mr. Obama is a Democrat, and yes, his endorsement is important, but there is an election to fight, and Mr. Trump is not doing too badly, though recently the surge that of his support vis-a-vis Clinton, that seems to have tapered off a bit. Clinton's maybe ahead, maybe by 2 points or so, but this is just the beginning of the election season.
Also, you know, how much of a boost will Obama's endorsement give to Hillary Clinton? She's been his former Secretary of State, but will Obama, will he be able to deliver the kind of numbers which he gained for himself in the last 2 elections?
You know, as a sitting president, Obama is not going to actually campaign for her. Obama has endorsed her. And it's not as though he's going to go out and give rousing speeches in her favor. In any case, that electorate, the people who supported Obama, are already there. Hillary Clinton has a problem with young people, 15 to 35.
Yes.
And those are the people, I'm not sure whether Obama by himself can deliver that.
Yes.
So yes, the endorsement is important, but it's not, what should I say, it's not decisive.
You spoke about the youth population. In the last 2 elections, of course, the youth went with Barack Obama. This time, they seem to be, you know, inclined towards Bernie Sanders more than Hillary Clinton. So, in any case, with Bernie Sanders now out of the race, it's virtually Clinton versus Trump. Do you see a crossover by the youth population towards Trump?
No, I don't see that. I don't see that, because the kind of young people who are supporting Hillary Clinton, they're basically left of center people. They want, you know, reform in education and social welfare and those kind of areas. So I don't see them going over to to Trump. But you see, what can happen is that they might simply stay at home on election day. And not turn up to vote, which will be damaging to Hillary
The numbers
Clinton.
might fall than the previous times. Also, you know, coming to the challenge posed by Bernie Sanders, during the primaries, he, of course, rigged up the email scandal, and then there were, you know, earlier corruption scandals against Hillary Clinton. Do you see that denting her campaign now? Although they are coming together, it's the Democrats are portraying as though, you know, they're now united in the battle. But, you know, how much of it is going to actually help the Democratic Party?
Well, we need to watch whether Bernie Sanders comes out, what kind of an... first of all, Bernie Sanders wants to take this race right down to the convention.
That's right.
What he's saying is that he wants to influence the Democratic Party platform. And if he can do a deal with Hillary Clinton and actually issue a formal endorsement, because he has not formally endorsed her, issue a formal endorsement and actually go out and call on the young people to vote, call on his supporters to support Hillary, that will definitely make a difference.
He has kind of indicated, you know, after Obama's meeting and the day Hillary was actually declared the presumptive nominee, he in fact indicated that he will bow down after Obama's meeting with him. So, and also, do you think that email scandal, could it derail Clinton's race to the White House? Could the FBI in the coming months indict Clinton in any way? Do you see the possibility?
No, anything is possible. In the US system, there is a certain autonomy with the FBI, and no one can influence them. And they have their own processes. But somehow I feel that I don't think it will go to that point because this thing has been around for a while and had been so serious, I'm sure it would have culminated earlier. But you see, with the election coming on, you will find both sides will have dug up dirty stuff on each other. And so you may find more of that coming up in the coming months.
And now, because it's Clinton facing Trump now, is the battle easier for her? Or, is Trump potentially bigger challenge for her?
No. Meaning definitely the battle is easier for her. Trump has never been in politics, of course, so he doesn't have a record.
But he's been performing really well.
He's been performing well because there is a certain, in the United States, particularly in the Republican camp, there is a certain, an upsurge against the orthodox republicanism. And he has captured that, and the kind of, there is a feeling, and I think, whether you look at Trump or whether you look at Sanders supporters, they reflect an unease on the part of the electorate. The electorate is not happy with many things. They're not happy with US tendency towards global intervention. They're not happy with the manner in which the United States, their personal condition, in the sense that they've not, the middle class and the lower middle class haven't done well in the last 20 years. They feel that they've been cheated out of prosperity. There are job issues in the United States, joblessness. So all this is a kind of a frustration. So they feel that we are spending too much money abroad, fighting wars for other people. Others are not doing their share. Likewise, many of these trade deals that are coming up, they say that the trade deals have hollowed out the United States and they've actually allowed the others to benefit. So this kind of angst is there, which is propelling these voters.
So unlike the previous two elections when we saw the blacks and the Hispanics coming out voting in large numbers, this time we could see this angry class coming out and voting in large numbers, and presumably that could go in favor of Trump.
Yes, that could go in favor of Trump. Meaning there is no doubt about that. The blacks and the Hispanics, now that is the thing, they came out, the blacks particularly came out because of President Obama. Hillary also gets their support, but the extent to which they will be motivated to come out is the issue.
All right, Mr. Joshi, do stay with us. We'll come back to you in just a moment. So I am with her. That's what US President Barack Obama said as he endorsed Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton, giving her an edge over rival Bernie Sanders. The US President released a video saying there's never been someone so qualified for the Oval Office. He also met with Bernie Sanders, where we discussed uniting the Democratic Party against Donald Trump.
Those of you who've been with me from the beginning of this incredible
US
journey,
President Barack Obama endorsed his former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to become his successor. Obama released a video saying there's never been someone so qualified for the Oval Office.
Making history as the presumptive Democratic nominee for President of the United States. Look, I know how hard this job can be. That's why I know Hillary will be so good at it. In fact, I don't think there's ever been someone so qualified to hold this office. She's got the courage, the compassion, and the heart to get the job done.
Presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton remains ecstatic after Obama's endorsement, describing it as a huge push in her run-up to the presidential polls. Obama's endorsement also comes after a hard-fought Democratic primary season in which Clinton struggled against leftist rival Bernie Sanders.
It means the world to me to know that he has my back in this election. He has been very supportive over the past 15 or so months, and it's a great opportunity for us to campaign together in the general election, just as we did in 2008 when he was running.
Bernie Sanders met US President Barack Obama on the pretext of joining hands with Hillary Clinton in order to defeat Republican Donald Trump, although Sanders said he will stay in the White House race till the last primary election. During the meet, Sanders also thanked Barack Obama for remaining impartial during the Democratic primary process.
President Obama and thanking Vice President Biden for the degree of impartiality they established during the course of this entire process. And I congratulated her on her very strong campaign. I look forward to meeting with her in the near future to see how we can work together to defeat Donald Trump and to create a government which represents all of us and not just the 1%.
Hillary will be
Barack Obama's backing is expected to give Clinton a potent push on the campaign trail. Clinton and Obama will begin campaigning together from next week onwards. With this step, Obama aims to see Democrats maintain the White House and reclaim the Senate. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Coming back to you, Mr. Joshi, how should we look at the entire development from India's perspective? Of course, we know Hillary Clinton is going to take over Obama's legacy if she wins, and she will be a better president as far as India is concerned.
I'm not sure, because our experience usually has been that Republican candidates are better for India than the Democrats. Though many of the Indians connect emotionally with the Democrats, but the actual experience of the past shows that we have gotten along better with Republicans.
And particularly with the way things are going on with Barack Obama and the bonhomie between him and Narendra Modi, of course, the Indians feel more connected with the Democrats.
See, those kind of bonhomies don't really matter. That's all for the, in a kind of a official visit.
So they're just optics.
There's a lot of publicity, there's a lot of hype and spin. But when we're talking of specific policies, etc., the Republicans have been much more. For example, George W. Bush is the guy who pushed the Indo-US nuclear deal.
That's right.
What you're seeing now, what Modi is doing is really is wrapping it up, meaning wrapping up the deal which was signed in 2005 and completed in 2008. So, and Bush had, without Bush's support, we wouldn't have managed to, we wouldn't have had that deal. So the point I'm making is that the problem, of course, here is that Trump is an unknown quantity, because even as a Republican, he's an unknown quantity as far as India is concerned.
That's right.
Hillary is a known quantity, you know, known category. It's not that Hillary has shown any great particular interest in India.
Okay.
That's also not true, meaning she hasn't really been around, she didn't travel that much or take up some issue which had to do with India. That was not her.
All right, many thanks, Mr. Joshi, for joining us on the program. With that, we'll take a short break here on the program. On the other side, one final farewell to boxing great Muhammad Ali. Welcome back. The Israel-Palestine tension is at its peak once again. This after two Palestinian gunmen killed 4 Israelis at a popular market area in Tel Aviv on Wednesday in an attack that shook the city. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described the attack as a savage crime of murder and terrorism. Israel also imposed a temporary ban on Palestinians' entry into the country.
In one of the deadliest attacks in an 8-month wave of Palestinian violence, Israel's Tel Aviv witnessed massed shooting near a popular open-air market when 2 Palestinians opened fire, killing 4 Israelis and wounding at least 11.
When I listen shooting of a machine gun, not a gun, and I am in my past fight, I was in parachute. I running inside to the noise that I listen, and I find 2 wounded on the market, the restaurant. I get to help them.
The state police were clueless of advance intelligence related to the terror attack. Israeli police have heightened security around the Israeli city of Tel Aviv after the attack. Both gunmen were apprehended and 1 wounded during the shoot. Police have identified both gunmen as Palestinians from a village near the city of Hebron in Israeli-occupied West Bank.
32 terrorists opened fire at a very busy mall, shopping center and restaurant area in the center of Tel Aviv. Immediately, police units were dispatched to the area and responded and engaged with those 2 terrorists. One of the terrorists was shot at the scene and arrested, and the second terrorist was shot at the scene and arrested as well. We're focusing on understanding where those terrorists came in the Tel Aviv area from, if they were from Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, or they were familiar with the Jerusalem or Tel Aviv area. That's something that's just part of the ongoing investigation. But we've taken control of the situation and we're preventing any further terrorist attacks this evening in Tel Aviv. Heightened security will continue, no doubt, this evening as well as tomorrow morning.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, along with the Defense Minister, visited the market area, calling the attack a savage of murder and terrorism. He said his government will take decisive steps against such attacks.
This is a savage crime of murder and terrorism in the heart of Tel Aviv. It's done by criminal terrorists who don't value human life, who are willing to murder innocent citizens. I think a larger tragedy was avoided by the resolute action of citizens, of security people, police. We're going to take the necessary steps to attack the attackers and to defend those who need to be defended.
In the last 6 months, Palestinian attacks have killed 31 Israelis and 2 visiting US citizens. Israeli forces have shot dead at least 196 Palestinians, 134 of whom Israel has said were assailants. Others were killed in clashes and protests. However, the frequency of Palestinian street attacks in Israel have slowed down significantly in the past, but the situation remains tense. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
US Secretary of State John Kerry has warned China against attempts to resolve the South China Sea dispute through unilateral actions. He urged all nations to find a diplomatic solution rooted in international standards and rule of law, countering Chinese criticism of US interferences in the dispute. The South China Sea dispute has become a flashpoint between both countries. The US backs the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei and Taiwan to counter China's claims of almost the entire region. As tension brews between both countries, Chinese President Xi Jinping has said the issue must be properly managed by avoiding major disturbance in ties. John Kerry is currently in Beijing for a 2-day strategic and economic dialogue between US and China. And much else has been unfolding around the world. Here's a quick wrap of other international news of the week in Globe Watch.
Spain's main political parties launched their electoral campaigns in Madrid on Thursday ahead of a June 26 election. Acting Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy kicked off his campaign promising jobs for Spaniards, while his socialist rival Pedro Sanchez presented his party as one of integrity. The June poll was called after the parties failed to reach an agreement following an inconclusive vote last December. 22 people were killed and over 70 injured in 2 separate bomb blasts in Baghdad. One of the attacks took place in a commercial street where a car packed with explosives blew up, killing at least 15 people. Another suicide car bomb targeted a main army checkpoint in Taji, just north of Baghdad, killing 7 soldiers. The attacks come as Iraqi forces are trying to dislodge the Islamic State from Fallujah. Somali Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab killed 43 Ethiopian soldiers in an attack on a base of African Union's AMISOM force. The group said its members were also killed in the raid, which saw heavy exchange of gunfire. AMISOM forces said they successfully repelled the attack and were still in charge of the base.
Religious and political leaders from all over the world joined the sports world and tens of thousands of ordinary mourners on Friday to bid farewell to Muhammad Ali, the boxing champion who jolted America with his showmanship and won worldwide admiration as a man of principle. Here's a tribute to the greatest.
Thousands of people gathered outside the Cave Hill National Cemetery on Friday in Louisville, Kentucky for the funeral of boxing great Muhammad Ali. Ali's hearse moved through the city, pausing for a huge crowd outside his childhood home en route to a cemetery for a private burial beneath a headstone reading Ali.
How he handled all the adversity, that he went through in his life. It helps me as a young man looking back at the way he did,
Oh, I was just overjoyed just to be able to experience this day with the family, the friends, everyone out here. It's just been amazing.
World leaders, celebrities, boxing fans and Ali's admirers gathered for one last goodbye to a towering global figure who died a week ago at the age of 74. Actor Will Smith and boxing champion Mike Tyson both served as pallbearers and took Ali's body to Cave Hill National Cemetery for a private burial. Former US President Bill Clinton, comedian Bill Kristol, Jordan's King Abdullah were among the dignitaries who featured the eulogies.
My name is Ali Nicola. When Muhammad was asked how he would like to be remembered, he said, I like for them to say, he took a few cups of love, he took 1 tablespoon of patience, 1 teaspoon of generosity, 1 pint of kindness, he took 1 quart of laughter, 1 pinch of concern, and then he mixed willingness with happiness.
But Ali's impact was not limited to those of a certain race or of a certain religion or of a certain mindset. The greatness of this man for the ages was that he was, in fact, a man for all ages.
I think he decided very young to write his own life story. I think he decided before he could possibly have worked it all out, and before fate and time could work their will on him, he decided that he would not be ever disempowered.
Ali, once a controversial convert to Islam, who lost 3 years of his boxing career for refusing US military service during the Vietnam War, is now one of the most respected men in the United States. Ali's farewell was unlike any other in recent history of United States, which included 18 car processions of over 37 kilometers. As mourners bid farewell to the legendary boxer Muhammad Ali in his hometown of Louisville, he will remain as the greatest forever. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the Cuban capital has been added to the list of 7 wonder cities by a Swiss-based foundation, along with Beirut, Doha, Durban, Havana, Kuala Lumpur, La Paz and Vigan. We bring you visuals from that beautiful city as we take your leave. We'll see you same time next week with another brand new edition. Goodbye.